have you ever argued with your honey about what you want to do on a Saturday night? Maybe one of you wants to go to that big party, but the other just wants to chill out, just the two of you. Or on a weekend morning, one of you makes a to-do list and a schedule, while the other prefers to just take the day as it comes, not make any plans, be more spontaneous. Did you know that your Myers-Briggs personality type can seriously affect your marriage and personal relationships, not to mention your career? So are you an INFP or an ESTJ or maybe one of the others? I'm Rena Hademan, professional certified coach, and in this video, I'm going to tell you about the 4 key sides of your personality based on the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator Test, and how knowing and understanding your own type can really help you be happier and more successful. How? Because it can give you the tools not only to communicate better at work and advance your career, but it also gives you insights for a strong, more loving relationship. And at the risk of getting too personal, I'm going to tell you about my personality type and my husband's and how knowing our types has really helped us have better communication, mutual understanding, appreciation, passion, and a solid marriage for more than 25 years. So have you ever argued with your honey about what you want to do on a Saturday night? Maybe one of you wants to go to that big party, but the other just wants to chill out, just the two of you. Or on a weekend morning, one of you makes a to-do list and a schedule, while the other prefers to just take the day as it comes, not make any plans, be more spontaneous. Or at work, maybe you're super detail-oriented and organized, so it drives you crazy that your colleague isn't. As much as we often get frustrated with others in our lives who don't think the same way we do, as much as we'd like to think that we are right, the truth is our personality types are just different. I have no affiliation with Myers-Briggs. I've just studied it extensively as a career and life coach. I first took the test 25 years ago, and it's helped me enormously in my marriage and also in various jobs and roles I've played, including business owner, mom, daughter, sister, and friend. You see, it measures how we think, how we make decisions, and how we relate to people and situations around us. I'm going to give you a quick overview and tell you how you can find out your unique 4-letter type and just describe them. There are 4 main facets or quadrants of the Myers-Briggs Personality Indicator, which is based on the psychological theories developed by Carl Jung. The first quadrant is introvert, extrovert. The second is sensing, intuition. The third is thinking, feeling. And the fourth is judging, perceiving. Now, if you're not familiar with these terms, and even if you are, the names used here are pretty misleading and unclear, if you ask me. But I'll explain what they're all about. I'll start by telling you about my personality type and my husband's, and how being aware of our types is a big reason we have such a strong marriage. Okay, I'm an ENFJ. That stands for extrovert, intuition, feeling, judging. Well, you obviously know what the words extrovert and feeling mean, but the words intuition and judging, they really don't mean what they sound like. I mean, well, at least not for this test. But let's look at introvert, extrovert first. This is not the same thing as being shy versus self-confident, as so many people incorrectly assume. No, it's about how you get your energy and how you like to focus your attention. Being an extrovert, I really like being around a lot of different people and activity. That's not to say I don't need my alone time too sometimes, but I recharge my batteries by interacting with people and sharing ideas. My husband, on the other hand, he's an introvert, and although he's totally fine with going to parties and being with a large group of friends, that does not recharge his batteries. What does is being alone or with one other person, maybe reading, listening to music, playing tennis, walking the dogs, for example. So on a Saturday night, I'd be psyched to go to a cocktail party. Not that anyone's having them these days, with the pandemic still dragging along. I love seeing my friends and meeting new people. I find it so interesting and stimulating to get to know them and learn their passions are and hear about it. It energizes me. My husband, on the other hand, in that situation, he'd much prefer to have a long, drawn-out conversation with just 1 or 2 people, maybe in the corner, for the entire evening. But his first choice for the evening might be just to go out for dinner or a movie, just the 2 of us instead. So does that mean that he's antisocial and doesn't like our friends and I'm shallow or superficial? Absolutely not. It simply means we're wired differently. We recharge our batteries differently. So knowing this, we try to support each other's needs and make sure we keep a balance of both in our lives together. I mean, I'm a happier person if I can hang out with groups of people sometimes. I literally feed off of that energy, and Rick gets that. And I know that he will be a better, happier person if he gets enough downtime away from the crowd sometimes. This is important to recognize, especially when it comes to family gathering. We both really enjoy each other's families, so we join in. But for example, I know that Rick can only take a certain amount of all the hoopla that goes on, even though he loves his relatives and mine too. After about an hour, he'll need to go upstairs and read a magazine or something on his own. His batteries get quickly depleted in a situation like that, so he needs to go recharge them. I know that about him, so I know that he's not just being rude or antisocial. I mean, we all need to recharge our mental batteries, whether we're an extrovert or an introvert. Safeguarding and nurturing our mental health is super important, right? Okay, let's move on. The second quadrant is sensing intuition. Pay no attention to those words because, as I said before, they're really not good descriptions at all, in my opinion. Now, this quadrant is important because it's how we communicate and approach the world around us. And as I'm fond of saying, communication is everything in every kind of relationship, whether it's between a couple, a parent and child, employer-employee, neighbors, friends, you name it. People who are sensing, according to Myers-Briggs, tend to be very detail-oriented and organized. And to the intuitive type, they might even seem like control freaks sometimes. Intuitive types tend to prefer to look at the big picture. They're more conceptual in how they look at things. If you asked a sensing person where the restroom is, for example, they're probably going to give you very detailed directions. You see that green door? Well, go past that, then take a left, and about 20 feet down the hall, you'll find it. Third door on the right. The intuitive person might say something like, turn left over there and it's on the right. When I was younger, it used to really bug me when my dad would give me directions anywhere because they were so detailed and my mind just doesn't work like that. I swear, he'd say things like, at the stoplight, see a red house on your left, then go exactly 5/8 of a mile, and then after the third rose bush on your right. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but not much. Clearly, my dad is sensing and I'm intuition. I am definitely more of a big picture thinker and communicator. There's no right or wrong. Neither one is better than the other. It's just a description of how you tend to think. So in this quadrant, my husband and I are the same. We're both I's, meaning we're both more broad, big picture thinkers. Over our 25 years of marriage, we've realized that this is helpful because, again, even though there's no right or wrong way to be, this quadrant reflects how we tend to communicate, which is so important in a marriage, in any relationship, as I said before. A friend of mine who's a psychotherapist happens to be an I, like my husband and me, but his wife, who's a lawyer, happens to be a very strong S, meaning she tends to like details and specifics. So when he comes home from work and his wife says, "How was your day, honey?" And if he says something like, "Oh, it was excellent. I feel really psyched about how things are going." Well, to her, that answer leaves her in the dark. She wants to know more details, more specifics on how and why he had such a great day. Did he maybe bring on more clients? Did he help an existing client have a big breakthrough? Or maybe he just had a fun lunch with an old friend. She's not being nosy. She simply needs examples in order to understand, because that's how her mind works and how she communicates best. That's how she thinks best. Luckily, since they both know this about themselves and each other, they're able to make an effort to communicate in a way that the other person will understand better. They're not trying to change themselves or change the other person. They just know that it helps their communication if they can speak in each other's language. Okay, the third quadrant is thinking, feeling. These words are pretty self-evident. It relates to how we perceive the world and how we make decisions. Thinkers tend to make decisions for the most part based on facts, reason, and logical analysis. Feelers like to add in a little about their values and what personally feels right to them deep down inside. They tend to trust their gut. Again, there's no right or wrong, and it's not usually black and white, one or the other. It's just that knowing this about yourself as well as the people you spend the most time with can be a huge asset. I tend to be a bit of a feeler and my husband's more of a thinker. So for example, if I want to say, convince him that maybe we should book a vacation to the Caribbean, my huge desire to go there and all my excitement and enthusiasm in the world won't convince him, because he makes decisions based more on facts and logic. Obviously, I want facts too before I make a decision, but I tend to allow emotion to play a role as well, at least more than he does. Keep in mind, as I said, that nobody's 100 one way and 0% the other way. It's all a spectrum. Of course, you could be right in the middle. but most of us tend to be at least slightly more one way than the other. Okay, so the fourth and last quadrant is judging, perceiving. Another one where the words just seem to make no sense. It has nothing to do with being judgmental or perceptive. In a nutshell, a judging person prefers to plan and schedule things out. They like structure, organization, they love to-do lists. They don't like last-minute changes or big surprises, and they feel satisfied when they complete tasks. A perceiver, on the other hand, likes to take things as they come. You know, go with the flow. They often don't like to commit to something. They prefer to leave things open-ended and flexible. And they get satisfaction from having many options available. Several of my friends tell me that they often clash with their spouse on weekends because one of them is a planner and wants to schedule out their day, whereas the other wants to have no plan and leave their options open. Neither's right or wrong, each is just a different way of approaching our life experience. My husband and I are both J's, meaning we both tend to be planners. The fact that we're both similar in that way can be a good thing, of course. But on the other hand, it might mean that we sometimes miss out on spontaneity, and spontaneity is a really great thing for couples sometimes. Oh, no, honey, not now. No hanky-panky, it's not on the schedule. We're just kidding. We are so not like that, I swear. As I said before, in each of the four quadrants, most of us tend to be a little of both. But we all usually feel more comfortable using one style over the other. Knowing how you tend to operate in each of these four areas and being aware of your preferences can really help you seek out job situations that are more suitable for you and communicate better in relationships for more mutual support and understanding. So you want to know what your Myers-Briggs personality type is? Or maybe you've already taken the test but want to know how to interpret your combo of letters to see what career might be best suited for you or how to communicate better? I've got some free resources for you that I'd be happy to share. Just click on the link in the description below and I'll send them to you. I've learned so much about myself and others through this, and I know it'll help you too. And if you found this video helpful or interesting, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button down there. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button too. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I promise to answer them personally. I make these videos for free because I absolutely love helping people level up their life. And by subscribing to my channel and hitting that little bell, you'll not only get notified every time I post a new video, but you'll also signal the YouTube algorithm to give others like you the opportunity to see this video. Thanks so much for being here. I can't wait to see you again soon.